Have you ever felt overwhelmed by change? Watched as something you worked for slipped away, or struggled to let go of the past? Everything you see around you, the trees, the rivers, even the tallest mountains, will one day disappear. Just as seasons change, so too does everything in life. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, understood this deeply. He believed that recognizing life's impermanence was a key to wisdom and inner peace. Today, we'll explore his teachings and how understanding impermanence can help us live better, calmer lives. Life is always in motion. What is here today may be gone tomorrow. Nearly 2,000 years ago, a Roman emperor faced these same human struggles. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself that power, wealth, pain, and even joy are fleeting. He wrote in his personal journal, what we now call Meditations, that all is ephemeral, fame and the famous as well. Everything we cling to, whether it's success, relationships, or hardships, will eventually pass. I'm going to share with you Marcus Aurelius's timeless wisdom about impermanence and how understanding it can transform your life. But instead of fearing this, Stoicism teaches us to embrace it. Why? Because understanding that everything is temporary helps us focus on what truly matters. Think about a time when you were deeply upset about something. You're stuck in traffic, late for an important meeting. Your phone's buzzing with urgent messages. That promotion you were counting on, someone else got it, and also a rejection, a failure, an argument. At that moment, it felt like the end of the world, didn't it? But now, looking back, does it still hold the same weight? Probably not. The Stoics teach us that when we realize how small our worries are in the grand scheme of life, we can let go of unnecessary stress. Marcus Aurelius said that time is like a river made up of the events which happen in a violent stream. For as soon as a thing has been seen, it is carried away, and another comes in its place. But this isn't just about accepting defeat. It's about understanding a profound truth that can set you free. By embracing impermanence, we learn to appreciate the present. We stop delaying happiness for someday and start living fully in the now through the Stoic lens. The phrase, everything is temporary, is not just an observation, but a guiding principle for how to live wisely. But the Stoic knows otherwise. All things, from the smallest irritation to the greatest joy, are fleeting. The long-awaited promotion, temporary. The painful breakup, temporary. The feeling of exhaustion after a hard day, temporary. Even the grandest empires, the most passionate loves, and the deepest sorrows are swept away by time, just as waves erase footprints in the sand. This understanding does not lead to nihilism, but to a deep sense of peace and perspective. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic emperor, wrote, "The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it. If everything is in flux, the wise person does not grasp at what cannot be held. They do not despair when things fall apart, nor do they cling desperately to what is destined to fade. Instead, they cultivate a steady mind, focusing on what is within their control, virtue, reason, and their own actions. Walking through the city, a Stoic observes the hurried expressions of those chasing wealth, success, or approval. They see people losing themselves in momentary frustrations, as if each inconvenience were permanent. But the Stoic remains grounded. They accept change, knowing that suffering, like pleasure, will pass. By embracing the temporariness of all things, one is free to live fully in the present, neither fearing loss nor becoming enslaved to desire. Everything is temporary, so let us live with wisdom, gratitude, and serenity. But Marcus wasn't just writing philosophy. He was leading an empire during times of war, plague, and personal loss. He knew firsthand that accepting impermanence doesn't mean becoming passive. Instead, it means engaging fully with life while understanding its temporary nature. Like holding water in your hands. You know it will eventually slip through, but that makes it more precious, not less. Accept the things to which fate binds you and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart, through the Stoic lens. This teaching is a reminder that everything, our circumstances, our relationships, even our own existence is temporary. We are bound by fate. Yet within that binding, we are free to choose how we respond. The people who enter our lives, the events that shape us, the joys and losses we experience, all of it is fleeting, passing like leaves carried by the wind. A Stoic does not resist this truth, but embraces it. Acceptance is not resignation. It is the wisdom to see that fighting against what is beyond our control only leads to suffering. If fate has placed certain people in our lives, we should love them fully, not as possessions, but as fellow travelers on this temporary journey. We do not know how long they will stay. Perhaps for years, perhaps only for a moment. But while they are here, we should cherish them with our whole heart. However, the Stoic does not cling. To love deeply, while knowing that loss is inevitable, is a true test of wisdom. The world changes, people come and go, and time moves forward, indifferent to our desires. But instead of fearing this impermanence, we should find meaning in it. The fleeting nature of life makes love more precious, not less. To love without attachment, to embrace what fate brings without resistance. This is the path of serenity. When we understand that everything is temporary, we can live with gratitude rather than fear, with presence rather than regret. Thus, the Stoic walks through life with an open heart, unshaken by loss, unburdened by fear, accepting all, loving fully, and letting go when the time comes. So, how can you start practicing this today? Here are 3 simple Stoic exercises. 1. The view from above, imagine yourself as a tiny dot on a vast planet. Now zoom out further. See the world, the stars, the universe. When you step back, your worries seem much smaller. This exercise helps us detach from our problems and see the bigger picture. 2. Memento mori. Remember you will die. This might sound dark, but the Stoics saw it as empowering. By remembering that life is temporary, we stop wasting time on things that don't matter and start valuing the people and moments that do. 3. Negative visualization. Think of something you deeply value. Your home, a loved one, your health. Now imagine, just for a moment, that it's gone. This isn't meant to make you sad, but rather to help you appreciate what you have right now instead of taking it for granted. Everything is temporary, the highs, the lows, and everything in between. And that's okay, because when we stop clinging to what is fleeting, we can start living freely. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. If you found value in this, give this video a thumbs up and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. And if you want to dive deeper into Stoicism and self-mastery, consider subscribing. Remember, life is short, so let's make it meaningful.